Hello and welcome friends. Today's episode is focused on reporting for print media. In this episode, we will discuss about the role and functions of a reporter, the qualities, types and beats of reporting, reporting for news, agency and coverage of meetings and press conferences. I am Simran Kohli and the subject expert is Mr. S.K. Singh. He has more than 25 years' experience in mainstream media. Presently, he is deputy editor in Outlook magazine. Prior to this, he was business editor of Dainik Bhaskar. He has taken sessions as guest faculty with Amity University and Galgotia University. Role and functions. Let us start with the role and functions of a reporter. A person who gathers information and reports it for a newspaper, television or online media is called a reporter. They are the main source of news for an organization. Their job is very important and no media organization can do without them. The role of a reporter is to act as a watchdog. He observes an event and interprets the same to the readers. Since most of the institutions, be it government or private, try to restrict the flow of information, the duty of a reporter becomes very important. Common functions of a reporter. He is responsible for gathering and writing a news story. To gather news, he is required to go to places, interview people, attend press conferences and events. If an event is going on, it is his duty to deliver updates. With the help of sources, reporters also break a news story. Nowadays, most of the newspapers have 24-hour digital editions which put pressure on reporters to file stories ahead of others or to find a new angle. Reporters working with a weekly or fortnightly have different kinds of pressure. They don't have to file each and every update regularly, but they have to find different angles in a story that may keep readers informed and engaged. A reporter has to gather information from different sources, tips, press releases, and by reaching on the spot. Before writing a story, he might have to do some research work also. A reporter has to face all kinds of situations. He has the privilege to meet the most powerful leaders or the most famous celebrities. At the same time, he might have to stand in scorching heat or heavy rainfall or even during police lathi charge and riots, putting his life at risk. Qualities of a reporter. There are thousands of reporters working with different organizations, but very few of them are renowned. To become a good reporter, one must have certain qualities. News sense and intelligence. This is the basic but the most important quality for a professional reporter. News sense or nose for news means to find out what is unique information in an event. For example, if a politician is supporting a project, he might be directly or indirectly involved in it. A good reporter can see the unusual things happening. Courage. There might be people who would try to intimidate to keep the truth unearthed. A reporter must be courageous enough not to get intimidated. Courage is also needed for growth of a reporter. It helps him to accept what he doesn't understand and avoid unnecessary criticism. Impartiality. If a reporter meets his source regularly, both might become friends. Sometimes he might get news which is against the source. It is his duty to bring forth the facts without hiding anything. Curiosity and alertness. A reporter must be curious enough to get the details. Only then he will be able to find some different facts. He has to always keep an eye on the events that are happening in his beat. finding the angle, writing skills. A reporter should know what should be the proper structure, how to present the facts in an effective way. Worthiness of a news story depends on the angle. Important information should not be buried in the latter paragraphs. Writing style should be easy for even common readers. Language used by bureaucrats, educators, analysts is not the same as that used by common readers. Skepticism. Skepticism is nothing but a questioning attitude. A good journalist doesn't take things at face value. There might be a lot of hidden facts behind the information provided in a press release. It is his duty to dig out the facts. Integrity. Integrity is the factor which brings respect to a reporter. He should not accept benefits or favors that impair his professional credibility. If he shares an information from a published source, he must give proper credit to it. Knowledge of current affairs. A good journalist is one who knows something about everything. It does not matter whether the subject belongs to his beat or not. For example, a reporter working on a political beat must have a general idea about what is happening in the sports world. Following code of conduct. Freedom of press is a widely mentioned term, but it does not mean that anything about anybody can be published. Privacy of individuals should not be invaded. There are certain rules of conduct which a reporter must follow. He should verify the facts before writing and avoid anything defamatory. Should not report anything that harms national interest. Equipment handling. A reporter might face a situation when no camera person is available, so he must be well versed with the operation of a camera. Nowadays, news is filed electronically, so he must be able to operate different softwares needed for the same. Apart from these, a reporter must have 3 general qualities also. Since he interacts with people, he must have good communication skills, must be active and a good listener. He must be trustworthy so that others may feel at ease in sharing confidential information. Must be punctual, not to miss any important information. It will also help him in meeting the deadline. Types of reporting. Reporting can be classified into 2 parts: general assignment reporting and beat reporting. General assignment reporters are those who report and write about a wide range of topics. Beat reporters are experts in their field. General assignment reporting. Normally, newcomers and reporters with experience up to 3 to 5 years are given such assignments. A large number of stories are covered by these reporters. Nowadays, some general assignment reporting is done by freelance reporters and stringers. Bureau chief or input head assigns him to the job, though he must be aware of the events that are occurring in the city. Working on different kinds of assignments every day might be frustrating to some. One must understand that these are the initial steps. Beat reporting. When general assignment reporters gather experience, they are assigned beats. They are specialized reporters covering one or more specific beats. The purpose of having a beat reporter is to increase the efficiency of a journalist. In England and several other European countries, beats were introduced in 1880s. In America, it started at the end of the 19th century. Due to long-term relationships with sources, a beat reporter can gather exclusive information. Their copies are more informative. There are some risks too. If he becomes too close with the source, he might not be completely impartial towards it. Sometimes beat reporters grow their own interest, which might reflect in their writings. Larger the organization, more are the beats. In smaller organizations, one reporter has to work on several beats. There are no formal requirements necessary for covering a specific beat, but understanding of the subject is necessary. There might be some working differences between two beats. For example, in political beat, leaking of information is very common, which is not so in financial beat. In political beat, a reporter can get in touch with his source comparatively easy, but the financial beat reporter has less possibility to meet with the CEO or MD. Along with foreign affairs and economics, political beat is one of the most prestigious beats, and it is the most visible in newspapers. Political beat reporters should have good knowledge of political issues, have a strong network and skill to handle big news properly. Political beat reporters and politicians have often been described as mutually dependent on each other. Reporters need exclusive information from politicians, and politicians need reporters to reach their information to the public. Political beats are scrutinized more often and criticized more strongly than other beats. Now, let us discuss different beats. Crime reporting. Crimes occur every day around us, and people also have an interest in reading crime-related news. There are different kinds of crime: murders, robbery, fraud, blackmail, kidnapping, rape, accident, fire, etc. It is a highly responsible and specialized job. A reporter should have good contact in the police and other administrative departments. In most of the crime cases, news is fed by police to the reporter. If possible, the reporter should go to the spot. Should have working knowledge of related codes and laws. Should not write stories in a way that glorifies criminals. In case a person is making accusations against another, he must try to take the version of the accused also. Court reporting. There are thousands of cases which are heard in different courts every day, but media reports only those which they think are interesting for their audience. In India, there are lower courts at district level, high courts at state level, and above all is the Supreme Court. As courts have become more active in social cases, the number of cases reported in newspapers have also increased. Cases in lower courts are generally reported by junior reporters. But reporters having legal background do the coverage of cases heard in High Court and Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has even laid guidelines for reporters who go for coverage in the apex court. Like any other beat, source is important in court reporting also. Many times, a reporter might need the copy of the judgment or the case file. The court clerk who prepares and keeps the records can be helpful to him. Lawyers can also be a good source. To understand the proceedings of a case, one must spend time in the court. Minute reading of the case file is also necessary. To understand legal jargon, a reporter can take help of the lawyers, but this jargon should not reflect in his copy. Health reporting. Health reporter is supposed to cover all the developments, researches, and irregularities in this field. If an epidemic breaks out, it is his duty to inform the people along with necessary measures that are to be taken. Reporting of COVID-19 is a good example of it. Since health is a specialized subject, a health reporter might have to take assistance of doctors and other medical practitioners. There are regulators like Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, and National Medical Commission, earlier Medical Council of India. Officials of these regulators can also be helpful and act as a source. Since health is a subject of major concern for every person, it must be kept in mind that the public is not panicked or misled by any of the facts. Education reporting. Education reporting bears the significance from the fact that each and every household is associated with it, be it child education or adult education, primary, secondary, or university education. Although general assignment reporters are given this task, Sometimes specialized knowledge is needed, particularly if the news is related to advanced courses. Reporters should regularly attend functions like convocation, college and university events, where they will not only know about new programs but also will be able to develop contacts with educationists and experts. In India, there are education regulators like CBSE, ICSE, state boards, UGC, AICTE, etc. A reporter should have contact with officials in these regulators. Sometimes there might be policy announcements. To mention an independent view, he must have contact with experts. If an education system is causing trouble for the students, it is his duty to bring forth the same. There are several aspects, theoretical as well as applied research, students as well as teachers, student union as well as the administrators. A reporter has to focus on all of these. Business reporting. Very often people, even journalists, say that they are not interested in business and economics. Yet there is a bit of business involved in everything. During the COVID crisis, you must have read about the growth rate turning negative, companies shutting down operations, sales going down, salary cuts and retrenchments. All these are related to business and economics. It is a branch of journalism that reports, interprets and analyzes changes in the economic state. Stories fall into three categories: spot, planned and investigative. There are many branches of business and economy. So, for a journalist, it is a lifelong learning process. Of course, one should have basic knowledge of the subject. The areas from which these stories generate are the economy, the government, policy announcements, banking and finance, agriculture and other commodities, corporates and markets, stock, bond, forex, derivatives, money, etc. Governments as well as corporates issue press releases, but these are one-sided information, so should not be solely relied upon. A reporter has to deal with a lot of numbers, but too much data in copy irritates the reader. So, data should only be mentioned to justify the report. Data should always be in context, like compared with data of previous year or with another country. It should be used to narrate the story. Business stories are very dry, so adding a human angle might make the story more readable. There are many people involved in a business process. They might be producers, suppliers or buyers. A reporter can get a clue if he meets them. Sports reporting. A sports journalist focuses on reporting amateur and professional sports events, local, national and international. It involves reporting about a game, its statistics, interviewing players and coaches. He has to write previews of upcoming events and post-game analysis. Sports reporter must understand the rules of the game he covers. He might have to write an analytical story also after the event, so having background knowledge is also important. A sports journalist having good contacts can break inside stories, but he has to maintain some ethics also, like not interfering with the personal life of a player. A reporter might be a fan of a particular player or team, but it should not reflect in his writings. In a dull game, he might have to create an angle to make the story interesting. For example, what was the turning point of the game? To cover an event, he might have to work at odd hours. If the game carries beyond the deadline of the newspaper, he has to report with the latest developments. City and local reporting. There are many things that happen in our cities every day. It may range from local level political meetings, problem faced by residents or shopkeepers in an area, to sports and cultural events. All these are covered by city or local reporters. Normally, general assignment reporters are deputed to cover these events. These events have good readership. Vicinity is a big factor in case of news readership. So, almost all the newspapers have more than one page dedicated for local news. This reporting is comparatively easier because organizations themselves inform the reporters or the newspaper office about the events they organize. Local body reporting. It is a very important part of city reporting. There are many issues like public safety, health, labor, welfare, education, utilities, transportation, which are directly related to our daily life. These issues are taken care of by municipal bodies. Although general assignment reporters are given this task, their work is very important because it is directly related to the daily life of the city residents. After beat reporting, let us discuss reporting for a news agency. News agency reporting. The basic difference between newspaper reporting and reporting for a news agency is that in case of a newspaper, the audience are the people who are the readers of the newspaper. But in case of a news agency, the whole world is the audience. Local reporting is mostly done by the reporters of the newspaper. Organizations have some reporters to cover national stories, but they are limited and stationed at select cities. Rest of the national and almost all the international events are covered by the agency reporters. So, a reporter working for a news agency has to write stories with that perspective. The maximum number of news stories that are published in a newspaper are contributed by news agency reporters. Agencies are bulk suppliers of news and media organizations subscribe to them. There are three types of news agencies. World news agencies, which operate globally and have their reporters in almost all the major cities around the world. Regional news agencies, which operate within a continent or a particular geographical area. National news agencies, which operate within a country. A reporter working for a global or regional news agency has to focus on stories which are likely to be of interest beyond the country in which the event is occurring. Agency reporters need to be doubly sure before writing because if there is any mistake, it will appear in hundreds of newspapers. A newspaper reporter can give his opinion in the story, but agency reporters can't. They have to just report the facts and the reaction. Agency reporters have no deadlines, but they have to write as early as possible so that it can be used by a maximum number of clients. In India, Press Trust of India (PTI), United News of India (UNI), and Indo-Asian News Service (IANS), previously India Abroad News Service, are the major agencies. Reuters, AFP, and AP are the major global agencies. Reuters is the largest international news agency, having reporters in about 150 countries, covering speeches and meetings. Speeches are conducted by political, social and religious leaders, academicians, thinkers, etc. Meetings can be organized by a government or corporate body, political parties, associations or any other such group. A journalist has to cover a speech or meeting only as a part of the audience. He has no control over the subject being discussed. So, he has to listen to what is being said and write notes of key points. It is good to arrive before the speech or meeting starts. It will help in many ways to take a convenient seat, to know about the personalities coming to the event, in arranging to meet people after the event for comments. Collect the press releases, handouts, reports provided by the organizers. If you are recording a speech, note the counters when something important is said. It will save time while writing the story. If a speaker makes an outrageous accusation, check whether it is correct. Generally, topics of meetings are pre-decided, so a reporter must prepare a background note. If a meeting is not open to the press, he must contact someone part of the meeting beforehand as a source. If he has to talk to more than one person, keep interviews short. A good copy is one which makes the readers feel live about the speech or meeting. For this, a reporter should take note of the audience size, its composition, their mood, key persons present, dispute if any, etc. It is called setting. While writing, make sure that names and titles of the speakers, time and place of meeting, quotes and reactions are there in the copy. Covering press conferences. Press conferences, PC, are the occasions through which someone wants his voice to reach the masses. The person holding the PC makes his statement first, then allows reporters to ask questions. PC organizers try to control the event as it gives them free publicity. They try to showcase the facts of their favor and hide negative points. It is the duty of the journalist to unearth them. For this, it is necessary to know about the subject of the PC beforehand and do some research. Knowing the background helps in framing questions. Though organizers provide press releases, it is always better to find an extra angle for the story. Always try to go beyond the release. When the speaker is making his point, make a note of anything you want to ask at question time. Questions must be to clarify statements or get new information. Although it is difficult to get an exclusive story from a PC, if you succeed in meeting the speaker later in private, you could get some exclusive information. While writing, make sure that names and titles of the speakers, key announcements, necessary backgrounds, denials if any, and quotes are there in the copy. If there are several important announcements, detail them with subheads after a composite intro. Separate stories can also be written. Conclusion. It requires a lot of hard work, effort, and honesty to become an efficient reporter. The best way is to select some areas of interest, beat, and keep working on them for long. As he learns every day, he becomes an expert in his subject. There are reporters whom even policy makers consult with. At the same time, one must keep in mind that a reporter enjoys no special rights beyond those of other citizens. The function of free press is to serve as a watchdog, and a reporter has to work accordingly. The function of free press is to serve as a watchdog, and a reporter has to work accordingly. That is all in today's episode. We will soon get back to you with another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.